This film is being made to give prospective brides and grooms a bit of an insight as to some of the better places in Broome that you can have either your ceremony and your reception.
So Lukey, entrance point.
This is it. There's a few places in entrance point and we'll be able to go and actually have a look at each one of those closer. But you can get a really good view from these rocks. And I'm sure you know as well as I do, Elle, photographers love this area.
Oh yes, they do.
So you probably wouldn't actually get married where we are right now, but the backdrop of this area and sort of over here, you've got the most beautiful ocean, and it's really good to get your photos done in this spot. And the beaches for your ceremony are only just a walk away.
That's it, and there's approximately 4 real locations that you can have a ceremony and that caters for your big numbers and your small numbers.
So Elle, there's a few really good places for weddings.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably four main spots. Can you point them out from where we are on the rocks here?
Yeah, sure. So basically you've got the boat ramp there where plenty of boats come down. But so just over to the left of that, that's where a lot of ceremonies happen. Right down here, a lot of ceremonies, literally where the boat ramp is, they can happen at the front there when the tide is out. Yeah. And then directly in front of us is a nice little location. I've done a lot of ceremonies there. And then over to your right, which you can basically get out of the way a little bit further away from the boat ramp over this side.
Right.
So yeah, you get a little bit more secluded. It is a bit of a walk. I guess the bride can get down in a 4-wheel drive if it's, it's been a decent tide and the sand's soft. But otherwise, just enjoy the walk to your ceremony for bridegrooms, whoever.
And the beach you're speaking of now, it's big enough for over 100 people.
Definitely,
yeah.
Definitely. And it's fantastic because what you have here is also the availability of the fishing club, which is another place that you can have your ceremony but also have an awesome reception.
Yes.
So a lot of people have their ceremony here, and if you've got guests coming from everywhere and you don't want them to be traveling too far onto the reception, everybody can watch the sunset and then mosey on up there for a drink to kick off the celebrations, and yeah, and then have a huge big setup up there and enjoy.
So the fishing club is just up behind us. You might be able to see that in the film. It's not too far away from the entrance point beaches. And obviously there's this massive parking area that gives us a lot of space, whether you want to use a bus service or bring all your cars down. There's plenty of room to get that in, to park here. And also the fishing club has a fairly good parking size, but it is limited up right at the fishing club. But you can always park downstairs here and walk yourself up to the fishing club. A couple of things to keep in mind. We're filming at a different time today and a different day today, and you can see the difference in the tides.
Definitely.
So you've got to keep an eye, when you're going to get married at entrance point, to keep an eye on your tides, as well as making sure the council knows about it.
Yep,
Shire permits, permit for the venue and a permit for drinking.
Definitely.
And also keeping in mind that you will have the public using the area as well.
Oh, definitely. People are throwing a few lines from the rocks trying to catch some fish or coming down for a wander. People are allowed dogs down at this location as well, so they do bring dogs down. But this is one of the hot spots where a lot of people do get married as well. Yeah.
So if you have a look just over here, Elle, you can see how wet the beach is right there.
Definitely.
And that's simply because that would have all been underwater not very long ago.
No.
So it's another thing to keep in mind. Tides are really something you've got to work around in Broome because of those tides are so high.
Yeah.
The tide comes all the way up to the boat ramp, and as we saw in other parts of the film, goes all the way out so that it's almost half a kilometre away.
That's it. So today, if you wanted your ceremony at 3:30, you would have been standing in the water.
Exactly.
The hire companies probably wouldn't be setting up any of their things because they'd be floating away in the distance. I've done little elopements just here with a bit of the red rocks, the ocean in the background. And like we said, you've got the boat ramp coming down where boats are accessing in and out, but that's also quite accessible for a lot of people to make their way down.
Sure. I guess one thing you would keep in mind, there is the boat ramp to get down to this area,
Yes.
but it's a little bit slippery.
Yes.
Keeping an eye on, you know, the oldies or the invalid, but they could definitely get down here, you know, without too many troubles.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit more secluded compared to, say, Cable Beach.
Yeah, or Ganthium Point.
Or Ganthium Point
Yeah.
as well, Ganthium Beach.
Yeah.
I mean, people can drive down onto this beach, but you don't get too many driving down.
Yeah. Great. So we're heading to one of the next main points at entrance point here.
So we were just to the left of the boat ramp then,
Yeah.
I guess. We're looking at the ocean. And so now we're to the right and there's plenty of beach this way, but you can really go up and get a really nice secluded spot.
Sure.
Further up, where once again you have the red rocks meeting the ocean. And yeah, as you can see, so much beach, especially if you have 100+ guests.
Yeah, this would be, if you want to use entrance point and you've got a larger group coming for a wedding,
Yep.
this would be the perfect spot for your ceremony. Plenty of flat space if you want to set up chairs or if you want to get people standing around.
Yeah.
You got all that room. Again, grab yourselves a alcohol license and a Shire permit, and that way you can have a few drinks as soon as you get married.
Exactly. And easy access for all your vendors to get down, for your hire companies and everything.
Sure.
This is a really easy location for them to get all the big arbors, all the chairs and everything down here.
Yeah. Any down points for this area at entrance point, do you think, Elle?
Oh, look, not massively. People are always worried about the boats going in and out off the boat ramp, but once again, I think it's, if you're able to block things out, and if you can see how far we are already, I can't hear anything other than the ocean.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. I think some people really want that secluded and hidden, and that's where you can get Ganthium Point on the rocks. You can kind of hide away, or some of the venues where you can have everything like the billy and that. But yeah, I still think you can get your own little piece of paradise at entrance point.
Great. And I mean, the only reason you can see the boat ramp at the moment is because we're shooting this way. If you took your photos this way, you're just going to have nothing but paradise.
Sensational. Especially when that sunset hits, it's beautiful. And you know what, this is even a spectacular location of an early morning. I've done some sunrise.
Yeah, right.
And it's beautiful down here. If you're just looking to elope and then go off for a really beautiful brunch with champagne or something like that, yeah,
Okay.
what a beautiful spot to come down.
Yeah, yeah. Plenty of space on this part of entrance point.
Yeah, definitely. And see, the further we're moving away, like not many people like really walk down here. This is really where you, probably out of entrance point for all the locations, if you're picking a spot and you don't want too many people around, I would be going this spot at entrance point.
Okay.
Because the other side, where we will slightly venture to, that probably gets a little bit busier with people driving down and setting up and having a bit of a drink or...
And using the beach. For personal.
Exactly. A lot of boats putting in over there off the beach as well. So yeah, this is kind of the area if you want to have that space and not have anybody kind of, getting in your road.
And I mean, we've walked a good 70, almost 100 metres from the boat ramp, and we've still got plenty of way to go. You could even go another 100 metres if you wanted to sort of use some of those rocks as a barrier for a public audience.
Oh, definitely. So Lukey, we're standing on the other side of entrance point where the second boat ramp is. Talk us through.
So one great place for a smaller ceremony is up around the back of the corner. So from the second boat ramp, we're chucking a righty and we're going around the rocks. This is one of my favourite places for the rocks.
Yeah.
The scenery here is amazing, and it sort of I mean, you could get 100 people there if you wanted
Oh,
to.
I've done one with over 100 people,
Oh,
so
right.
you totally can.
Yeah,
you can
okay.
make it work.
Sure.
Hot, hidden a little bit, but once again too, it's a public space, so as we can see, there's already people parked up, enjoying a few drinks and that, but if they see a wedding being set up, generally people move on or move further down the beach as well. But yeah, a little bit further away means you get a little bit of space, a bit of distance, because then along here, this is where a lot of the boats come in and out.
Sure. And a lot of people sit here to enjoy their sunset
Yeah.
their evening too.
That's it, the beautiful sea breeze.
So that's one point on this side of entrance point that you can have a great ceremony, and then obviously on the other side of the boat ramp you've got a completely different backdrop.
Yeah. And look, once again, you can really have a bigger wedding there if you want to, or I do a lot of elopements and that where we just go and stand right where the rocks are. And
Yeah, okay, sure.
yeah.
Great.